I could give you predictions of what I think the release titles of PS6 are going to be, or what I would hope that they are.
Garfield.
Always Garfield. Yeah.
Starfield.
Oh, Starfield. Garfield or Starfield. Hi, it's Nathan. In Single Frame. How are you? So what we were going to do for this part of the show was talk about leaked information about the PS6 and when it was coming out. And even as we recorded the episode, I started to have a question over my head because there were lots of different sources that were telling me different things. That it might be 2026, that it might be in 2028, and they were all seemingly using different kinds of interviews that they had with senior staff at Sony. And eventually, after we recorded and I was going back over all of this, I did a little bit more digging, and I found out that the leak, as it were, that they're discussing is an internal document from October 28th, 2022, discussing the possibility of a Microsoft Activision Blizzard merger and what that would mean. In this document that's like 22 pages long, there's like this one little section that seems to be what everybody's using for their information, and it has to do mostly with Call of Duty to explain timetables. There's two basic statements that you need to understand. The first one is that it states, Microsoft has offered to continue making Activision's games available on PlayStation only until 2027. Later on in that same paragraph, it states, by the time SIE, that's Sony Interactive Entertainment, launched the next generation of its PlayStation console, which is likely to occur around, and it's redacted, it would have lost access to Call of Duty and other Activision titles, making it extremely vulnerable to consumer switching and subsequent degradation of its competitiveness. So this seems to be what the big leak and the big release date thing is. That if, as this says, Microsoft has offered to make games available until 2027 from Activision, but Sony would have lost access to Call of Duty and other Activision titles by the time the next PlayStation console comes along, all that really tells us is that they're thinking that it's past 2027, which doesn't really give us much of a date. And so that's not a lot of information to go on, that, 2027 or later is apparently the release date that everybody's discussing. I'll probably have to dig into this document with far more detail to try and figure out if there's something else that I'm missing, but that seems to be what the outlets are referencing. But I'll play the conversation that we had after this, where we discussed more speculation about what we can expect on the PS6, but this appears to be the big leak everyone's discussing. Not exactly revelatory, I hate to tell you. And now, back to your regularly scheduled Total Pebble Knockdown.
You think that the first launch title is going to be the new God of War game?
I think the initial release title is probably going to have Sackboy.
I don't know who that is.
It's a boy who's made of a sack.
Oh, is that like the Little Big Planet?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think so. I think what'll happen is you'll get the new God of War series where you're playing as Kratos' son Atreyu.
Oh, that's an interesting prediction.
That's my prediction for the PS6.
Yeah.
Because they revitalized God of War, and apparently they're really good games now. Like, they were great games back in the day, too, but apparently they're even better now. Like, they're because technology has come a long way. But that's my thing. 'Cause, like, Kratos is getting old. Obviously, we're going to play as a son. Yeah. Eventually.
I know that they...
Son of War.
Here's the thing. I know that they would love to be able to have a God of War game as their launch title.
Oh, 100%.
But realistically, have you noticed that a lot of the launch titles of the last generation or two have not been particularly impressive?
Oh, I did just watch. I think it was a Jacob Geller
Probably.
video on God of War,
Hmm.
or the Psych of Daryl Talks Games. Wasn't one of those guys? How about they did God of War 2 twice?
You mentioned that on the other episode.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good. In that case, no, the last title on the PS5 will be the new God of War.
Right.
And the reasoning they did that on God of War and God of War 2 was that it was at the end of the console's life cycle, and the team had developed for that specific cycle for that entire period and had gotten to know that framework really well. And so instead of trying to get ready for a new console's framework and trying to figure that out, they've pushed as hard as they could against the limits of the console's hardware capabilities at the end of its life cycle because they knew best how to use it. That's like what they did with the newer God of War, but not Ragnarok, I guess, is for the PS4. But you can also play it on PS5. But on the PS4, they pushed as hard as they could against those hardware limitations to get the best God of War they could for that console. But also for PS5, it's even better.
Here's something fun. I don't know if you know this.
I don't.
But you know that they made Fallout 3 twice as well.
For the same reason?
Totally different reason.
Oh, okay.
But I won't go into that right now. I think when I did the Fallout series for the Titanium Mine, I talked about it more. But at maybe at some point I'll dig into that and I'll tell you a little bit about that story. It's fascinating, actually.
Okay.
But at any rate, we're looking at what we would want for release titles, because like I could give you predictions of what I think the release titles of PS6 are going to be, or what I would hope that they are.
Garfield.
Always Garfield. Yeah.
Starfield.
Oh, Starfield. Garfield or Starfield. Those are both
Star Citizen
really
will be the launch title on the PS6.
Launch title, you heard it here first. It's going to be Star Citizen. You know what might end up being the kind of launch title that would also be a really good one? Would be
Minecraft 2.
Wow. Oh boy. Well, that's just going to be terrific.
It's on Microsoft only, sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing for the next Xbox, if anything. But no. The next Horizon game.
Oh, okay.
If the next one, because I'm just thinking about time frames.
Obviously, Skyrim Remastered finally comes out.
Skyrim, this is the final rim to Sky, will be the...
It'll be the 23rd edition of Skyrim.
That being said, though, Elder Scrolls 6 might end up being a launch title for that.
Who knows? Not for PlayStation, though.
Not for Well, they could put it on PlayStation.
Well, they could, but Microsoft owns Bethesda.
Here's what they might do. New Spider-Man.
There you go.
Spider-Man 2, Electric Boogaloo, Webaloo. Let's think about this critically. While we're here,
Nope.
Fuck it. Let's think about this critically.
Call of Duty.
Well,
That's
yeah.
Activision Blizzard, which is also owned by Microsoft. Never mind.
Never mind. Okay, so studios that Sony owns. Okay, we got Naughty Dog, we got Insomniac, we got Sucker Punch. Okay,
It'll be...
those are three.
It'll be Sonic Frontiers 2.
Please don't. Okay,
Sonic the movie, the game.
Naughty Dog will probably want to do Last of Us Part 3.
Great.
That would be a big one. Insomniac. The Spider-Mans.
Sure.
Two Spider-Mans.
Anyways, I think we're getting away from the point of the segment.
That's okay. And then Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Cool.
But anyway, are you out there excited for a PlayStation 6? Or have you kind of gotten away from consoles and are you part of the PC crowd now?
Or do you just not game and you just listen to this because... I don't know.
You live vicariously through us.
I'm so sorry.
I am so very sorry.
I am so sorry for your loss.
F in chat.
F in the chat. X for doubt. Anyways, if you've got your pre-order for the PS6 already, please let us know.
And also, when you say you do, tell me why. Why?
And what website you got that from, because we should check sources, please.
Yes, absolutely. Okay.